A major hurricane will likely form this week, and the name will be Aaron. What we have to find out is whether it tracks toward the west and forms a little bit later, or if it gets really strong very quickly and then curves out to sea. Hi, everybody. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Justice. Thank you for being here. I know your time is important as you're getting ready for this upcoming work week. My goal in this video is to give you all the information you need to know so that you can help prepare your week and look ahead to what could be coming as we move into the world of weather. Let me show you first what we're looking at. This is the European AI. It shows a weaker system initially. Now, you know I always say it, weaker goes west, and in this case, a weaker storm goes further west and then intensifies off the southeast coast, where it would be a higher threat toward the United States. The other models blow this storm up earlier and curve it out near Bermuda. So we have to unpack what this system is going to do and where it's going to go. So in this video, I'll map out all the possibilities, what the models are trending toward, because consistency in the models give us confidence in a forecast. Also, folks, we can't discount what's happening right now across Florida, the Carolinas, and Georgia, where we've had significant flooding this week. Some areas have had 3 months worth of rain in a matter of about 12 hours. Let me show you what's happening across Southwest Florida. This rain continues to come down from Fort Myers, south of Tampa, Cape Coral, even Naples. I mean, we've got flash flooding underway right now, and this flooding has been ongoing for a while. Then you stretch up the I-95 corridor into Savannah, Beaufort, Hilton Head, Charleston, Moncks Corner up through Georgetown into Myrtle Beach. This area has had several inches of rain. It has been a big-time rain. And more rain is pushing toward the mountains and the eastern parts of the upstate, and that will continue to spread in as a very wet pattern looks to be moving forward. But then we turn our attention to what happens later this week. As you're getting your week started, you're getting back to school, getting back into some routines here. There's going to be a lot of headlines this week, so let's kind of work through it and see what's going on right now with regard to the tropics. And we've got to watch out for what is this wave near the coast of Africa. It now has a very high chance of becoming a named system. This will likely be Aaron. So that's the key here. Aaron is all but inevitable. We'll probably get our first hurricane, and the models say not just a hurricane, but a major hurricane. But where does it track within this polygon? Is it more toward the south and then gets closer to the United States, or is it getting stronger faster? Let me show you. Let's look at some clues. Well, the storm is got some thunderstorms firing up with it. It's disorganized, a big blow up of those storms near the Cape Verde Islands. But as we move forward, this is going to become a little bit more consolidated, a little bit more organized. We've got some clues here from our models. Let's look first at the GFS plumes. This is a good idea of where it's going to go along with some other models. You got a westward track here. It shows you all the different possibilities and kind of the spread plotted here. Really easy way to iron this out. The green would be the GFS model. The black would be the ensembles. Notice how the ensembles are just a little bit to the west. Now, does that trend continue? Do the ensembles continue to be west of the operational run? Ensembles versus operational. What does that mean in normal terms? Well, the ensemble is basically like looking underneath the hood of a model and kind of what made the model happen. You have 28 different runs of the GFS. You have 51 different runs of the European, and this gives us a better look at the model and how it's behaving. You kind of give different starting conditions, different moisture levels, different intensity levels, and if you end up at a similar location, you know you got a pretty accurate forecast. So in this case, as we look at the GFS and the ensembles are a little bit more west. Some of its members are as far south and west as the Bahamas, but a lot of them curve this out to sea, which gives us some hope that this system may indeed be further out to sea and not be a threat to the United States. But we've got to watch it. When you look at the ensemble confidence, we're confident to about 72 hours. After that, the models are telling us there's low confidence in some consistency. So remember, consistency breeds confidence, and we have that in the next 72 hours. We pretty much well know that through 72 hours right here, this system is going to track toward the west. Beyond that, the models are telling us between hours 84 and 168, there's low confidence. Does this thing blow up and become stronger faster? Then it's going to tug toward the north. If it's weaker, it's going to go more toward the west. So that's what we have to iron out in the coming days. The good news here, folks, is we identified this threat about almost 5 to 7 days ago. So the amount of information we now have after that time frame is great. We know there's going to be a system. We know the time frame of the system. We know the intensity of the system. Pretty strong. We just don't exactly know where it's going to track yet, but we're getting closer to knowing that. Here's the European, the GFS, and the UK and the Canadian all plotted together. Pretty good agreement here until it gets north of the islands. And that's what's good news here. Though we're still watching it here across the Lesser Antilles, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and Haiti, there's growing confidence that this will be north of you. All right, so that's the good news for the islands. It looks less likely you're going to be impacted. We can't discount it. We can't, throw that out as a possibility, but we need to watch it. Some of those members are a little closer, and we'll have to look for trends. How do the trends go throughout today? Do they start to go a little more west? Or are they starting to bend a little bit? There will be changes. There probably will be some drama this week. Does it show a little bit more to the west? And the consequences here, folks, are high because the models do show this getting past tropical storm status, getting well into Hurricane Aaron 2 and 3. So it's very likely we have a major hurricane out of this, given the ingredients and the consistency in the models showing that this will be a strong storm system. The GFS plumes, again, good agreement here with it going as a curve toward Bermuda. That'll be something we'll have to watch out for Bermuda. Where does it go beyond that? The ship's forecast does show a Category 1 forming. The max potential intensity shown right here goes through the roof. So that's why the models here are showing we could have a strong system. It's because the max potential intensity, that shows you the ingredients available. There's plenty of it to be had. Max winds, plenty of it. Sea surface temperatures are only going to rise. Relative humidity does get in some drier air, but the ocean heat content combined with the sea surface temperature are plenty warm enough that it's going to overcome that dry air above it. So we do have some consistency in the models. This will be a strong storm system, possibly a strong hurricane. So let's look for clues in the atmosphere. What's going on? Well, we have this first initial tropical wave that really didn't pan out to be much, but what it did is it kind of impacted the Bermuda High. Since it's a weaker wave, it's probably going to have less of an impact on the Bermuda High. Originally, we thought maybe this would be a hurricane or a tropical storm, which would disrupt the steering currents completely. Well, since it's not as strong, it's not going to impact the steering currents as much. So does this wave follow suit with this one and try to bend out? Or does it stay weaker and continue to kind of progress here and then go closer to the United States? Well, the models show differing opinions of this. And right now, there's nothing to really say it's blowing up. There's certainly some intensity with it as it comes off the coast of Africa, but there's nothing to really say it's organized. An organized system will get stronger, so we need to watch it. There's not a whole lot of ingredients here initially to cause it to blow up, but we need to watch it. GFS model, let's show you first what it's showing in the trends. It shows a weaker system going west, and then it starts to intensify it right in here, a little bit earlier, okay? So that's the key here. Where does it begin to intensify? Looks like it moves toward the west because it's getting very intense, becoming a strong hurricane here. The Bermuda High wants to pick it up, and it starts to curve it. Looks like it goes right over Bermuda as a major hurricane. So we'll have to watch this for you folks in Bermuda, but for the southeastern United States, the GFS shows no threat to you on its latest model run. Let's look at the one from 2 runs ago. Very similar look right there. All right, let's go 3 runs ago. Got a nice, little more closely aligned to the European AI. Goes closer to the Outer Banks 3 runs ago, and 4 runs ago, right there at it too. So the GFS has certainly shown a trend with it going east and recurving. The last 2 runs versus the previous 2 runs. Okay, so the GFS is giving us that trend. That's a good trend. Let's look at the ensembles and do they support its operational run? You're looking for lows and consistency of the lows. Where are they aligned at? There's a lot of them here that are between Bermuda and the Outer Banks versus over Bermuda. So the ensembles are leaning a little bit more to the west than the operational run, as you saw with that line I showed you a minute ago. So this would indicate that perhaps the GFS model is going to start trending west a little bit. Do we start seeing a bend? Folks, we're looking for trends here, and that's going to be the case here. We're early in the ball game, so we're going to be able to identify, okay, this thing's leaning a little west, leaning a little more west. How many times have you seen the hurricane cone from the National Hurricane Center? Trend. Okay, you're in the cone, you're out of the cone. You're in the cone, you're out of the cone. Okay, we haven't even had a cone issued yet. That's how early we are in this. So we're looking for trends. We're looking to see how this thing begins to pan out and where does it go. All right, let's look at some other models here. This is let's get over to the European ensembles. Let me switch over here. Let's show you the European first. All right, that's the AI. Where did I put the European? Let's go ahead and look at the European. Here we go. All right. Latest run of the European blows this thing up. I mean, blows it up really big, really early. Tropical storm in the next 48 hours, hurricane early on. And because it blows it up early, it wants to track it a little bit more toward the north. That's the regular European. Let's map this on out. Blows it up, goes near Bermuda like the GFS did. All right, then it curves it out. All right, does that make sense? Let's go to the previous run of the European. Very similar look. So the European's got some good consistency like the GFS. Both of the regular European and GFS models are showing a recurve. But that's not the full story. We also have access now to the European AI model. And we have a couple of different runs of that to go through. So let's map that out. It wants to show a weaker system. The European AI is latching onto the idea that a weaker system goes west. A weaker system would have a higher chance at impacting the United States because it intensifies later on. An intense system is going to get picked up by the Bermuda High, but a weaker system kind of slides in underneath that and goes more toward the west. So the European AI model wants to show the Bahamas, and then a really, really intense system, a 948. That would be a Cat 4, Cat 5 on the European AI. That'd be a monster. This one wants to show it getting very close to the Carolinas and then kind of riding the eastern seaboard. That would be really impactful for so many from North Carolina up through the mid-Atlantic, even into the Northeast. I mean, we could have some big-time impacts in New York City, Boston, up through Maine. And then it gets into and possibly makes landfall in Canadian Maritimes here. Wow. I mean, that would be a big-time system. Aaron would do a lot of impacts to the eastern United States. So that's the European AI latest model. Let's back it up to one run ago. Okay, is there a trend here? All right, so very weak. The system stays weak, disorganized for many, many days here, according to the European AI model. Basically, it's an enhanced version of the AI. It's not as tested, so we don't really have some confidence that, what its consistency is yet because it's new. But it's also got some higher power computing. So we need to watch it. Okay, so weaker goes west. This is even further to the south and west, according to the European AI from 2 runs ago. This would take it over Cuba, over the Florida Keys as a hurricane, then spilling into the Gulf of Mexico as a very strong hurricane. This would be a Cat 2, Cat 3. It would go very close to Louisiana. You'd have a lot of storm surge. You'd be on the outer edge of that in central Louisiana. And then it would make landfall in Texas as a major hurricane. So that's the European AI model from 2 runs ago. Let's go one more out. Let's go 3 runs ago and see if there's a trend here. That's Myrtle Beach, Charleston. All right, so the European AI is certainly latching onto the idea that a weaker system through Friday. So if this system stays weak through Friday, we know we got a problem because it is going to blow up eventually, and this weaker system would blow up closer to the United States once it gets over the Gulf Stream. Very warm waters there. But does the AI model have support from its ensemble members? Well, let's look at it. Here's the regular European ensembles. Stronger. European ensemble shows a stronger system early on. Therefore, it stays out to sea a little bit more. All right. Got a big grouping of them here, and it curves it out. So some of them go west. Let's look at the low locations. Where are they at? You got some of them here across Florida, the Carolinas. You got some of them here between the Outer Banks and Bermuda. But let's look at the European AI ensembles. How do those pan out? All right, notice here, it's weak, it's weak, it's weak. Lots of consistency in here in a weak system through Friday. All right, but the European AI has some good consistency here with a Florida to the Gulf area. And then you would go over here toward the southeast. Hi, sweet girl. You go back to mama, okay? No. Take this back to mama. Go give this to mama here real quick for me. Thank you. Just, she needs it. Go give it to her real quick, okay? And bring her my phone for her. Yeah. My 3-year-old Olivia wants to say hello. Go give that to mama for me real quick, okay? Yeah, go give it to mama real quick, okay? I'll see you in just a few minutes. So here's the deal. This thing's going to try to go west, and as it does, it's going to continue to be over there, over the Gulf, Florida, the southeast coast, Carolinas, and because the European AI is weaker initially, it wants to blow it up stronger a little bit further toward the west. And you got some pretty good signals here out of the multiple ensemble variations here of the Gulf up through the east coast being a possible landfall location in here. So we got to watch it. We just got to watch where it goes on the European AI. All right, so it's certainly stronger, more bullish than its regular European counterpart. But trends are going to win out here, folks. We're going to be able to see early on where these trends are going in at. So let's zoom out right here. You can see on the European tracks, multiple storms of these tracks want to curve it out toward Bermuda, but a few of them on the European latest model run want to curve it a little closer to the Bahamas and the United States. So that's the European. The European AI is going to be one that we'll have to watch out for. So you see that right there. Let's look at the icon. This is the German model. Where does it go? It wants to scoot this thing to the west, and it does blow it up a little bit earlier and initially. So it does start to curve north of the islands, and it would likely continue to curve out. So that would be the 6Z run. Let's look at the 0Z. Yeah, this thing's curving on the icon because it's stronger. Whew, that's a big system. So all the computer models, every single one of them, folks, blow this up into a strong storm system. It's just a matter of how soon they blow it up. If it blows it up earlier, you're going to have a stronger storm system curving out. If it intensifies it later, it's going to have a chance at getting closer to the United States. And just so you know, we're watching that back to school forecast for you because many in Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas, we just don't want any more rain. The stalled out frontal boundary here has caused too much rain here across parts of Florida. And generally the circulation around this low, this counterclockwise flow, has just sent an onshore just onslaught of some rain here. And it's going to continue as we go into our Monday. So Monday looks to be very wet across lots of Florida and going toward the Carolina coastline. And by midweek, we've got to look out for additional rain. As we get back to more of a summertime pattern across the Carolinas, it has been the coolest start to August on record for many in the Western Carolinas, while it's been very, very warm elsewhere. So let's look at that rainfall potential as we go day by day. I'm going to see that rain, especially heavy, Monday into Tuesday. Let's look at the rainfall totals through the week. Notice how it gets really heavy here across the eastern half of the Carolinas. Myrtle Beach to Charleston, we're looking at 4 to 5 inches of rain possible through the next 5 to 7 days. And same thing for the Big Bend region of Florida and down toward southwest Florida. We've got that onslaught, that consistent southwest flow that just brings in a very wet pattern for you. So flooding concerns are there as we go throughout the Savannah, Georgia area up through Hilton Head, I-95 corridor east in the Carolinas, and then same story tomorrow, Monday into Tuesday, and then finally we're back to typical summertime stuff with a front back toward the west later on this week. So we'll have to look out for that. Back to school forecast looks to be a little stormy, very rainy today as you're getting ready, getting those first day outfits out. It's very, very stormy here across parts of Florida. You see as we go throughout the rest of the day, those storms are going to produce some very heavy rainfall. And then heavier rain moves into the Western Carolinas. Looks to be a washout of a day on Monday for the upstate through Asheville. And that rain would continue to be heavy at times into Tuesday. So very wet start to the week here across the Carolinas. And we'd have to look out for the potential that it could be quite stormy late week. We're back to a typical summertime pattern with above normal temperatures coming in through the next week, toward the end of the week, and that looks to continue through the rest of August. It's supposed to be hot, but this would be above normal. So if a normal high is 88 to 90 degrees, you're going to be closer to the low to mid 90s in many of these locations as we look for the heat to return in many areas that it has not. So folks, thank you for being here. If you're new to this channel, please comment in the comment section where you're watching from right now. Please subscribe to this channel. It's my goal to always provide you with a transparent look at the forecast. Turn on notifications right now. That's the best way. When I post an update here, you'll get it. I'm going to be looking for trends, folks, with a no hype forecast. My goal is to always give a transparent look at what's going on. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything, but I'll tell you when it's time to be concerned. And right now, we're just waiting and watching. I would not cancel plans. I would not cancel cruises. But what I would do is keep checking back in, because you do not want to be caught off guard with this, because there will be many changes in the days to come. And I'll be on top of it for you. Have a good day, everybody.